cross that bridge when we get to it.
Still on the ship, as you can see.
This is a frame for Finesse Groundworks.
Because we've tried it and it doesn't quite lift even.
But as this bed slides, we can't 100% confirm that. He's made a new tool, just quickly.
Today's a bit of a special day.
We are pretty much getting it ready for paint now.
My role here at Spitfire Engineering is business development.
This ship is in the Guinness Book of Records.
One of our biggest problems is trying to get a steady flow of work through the workshops.
Happy customers is what we want. I'm sure there's some viewers that will know exactly what all of this is. 4:23 on Thursday now. It might be being left as is. This week in the yard, so what is this? Episode 36? 36, episode 36. Another busy week in the yard. Gavin and Andrew aren't back this week again, so leaving us to it, enjoying their time away. Fair on them. We've got WBT, the container project. We're getting the assembly done on that, so we should have everything together this week. I think there's a bit of painting to do on Friday for the actual main container part, and then the extras ready, and then we'll just do final couple checks Monday, Tuesday, and then delivery of that is next Wednesday. So we've just got over a week to do that, which should be fine, to be honest. We've got the 118 lorry, getting through that now. We've got all the hydraulics on. We need to get one more sort of Jubilee clip connected, and then it's all the testing, and then the final little bits of bolting on, a couple of lights to put on. Got to get that done, and then Trident, disassembling that a bit more, getting some more parts welded on, ready for the painting team. So as you saw last week's episode, you saw the testing process. So we've got that done, ready for the lads to start disassembling, painting, and then reassembling. Yeah, busy week. Myself and Jamie have just been outside with a customer. They are a machine dealer, so they buy and sell machines. We do up some of their machines. Their electrician is not working for them. He's only a contractor, but he's not doing any more work for them anymore. So he's just running us through all of the basics for how to operate their generator and some of the machines that they've got in the yard at the minute. So if there's any interest for their machines, we can sort that out for them alongside their salesman.
Right, so here we have the control box, which will be for the WBT. We'll put the sticker on today, nice and square, down the sides, mush. And then all these individual holes in the sticker will be for buttons, so obviously they're labelled up. And then down here, that'll be your emergency stop to open the box. And then all your operating instructions, daily maintenance, stuff like that, as simple as it gets. So this will be the control box frame for the Trident machine. I fabricated this on Thursday and a little bit this morning. And yeah, you've got holes here with some smaller holes for bolts for the buttons, big hole for the main control box, and then you've got these grates. So this one will bolt on underneath and a couple more to go on the back just to cover everything up. This will get mounted into the frame. I'm not quite sure how yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, that's it for this box. As you've seen before, this is the Trident machine. I fitted this box section last week because the control panel that I've just shown you, it will fit in this gap here. And then obviously all your controls will be on that. The aim for today is to empty the mixer, which I've already done, and empty all the sand out the auger. So we can then wash it down, get rid of anything, and finish off any welding that needs to be done. Yeah, that's about it.
So good morning. Still on the ship, as you can see. I'll give you a little bit of a tour of one of the decks on the ship. One that's got all the lifeboats on, so you can see all the technical details that there is on here. I'll just spin the camera around and I'll show you the back deck. We left port last night and we sailed here. It's 6:30 in the morning now, and it's got to be mid-20s, which I know is going to upset a lot of people because back in the UK it's like 2 degrees and it's raining. Richard sent me a video yesterday and it was raining in the UK. I'll just spin the camera around and I'll show you what we've got on deck. So as I say, this is the back deck. You can sit out here in the sun. There's a bar. These are particularly nice because you've got the shade above when it's hot. It's nice to just lounge around. So let's have a wander down the side of this ship. They put these in as like windbreaks so the wind doesn't whistle around the back of the ship, which is quite handy. So each side's got 6 lifeboats. They also double up as tenders, because if they are in port that you can't dock in the port, they have to drop anchor offshore. These double up as tenders where they can take you to and from the ships. Now if you look at the cable on the winches, they're all covered in grease, if you can see that. And the winches got some big pumps on there to drive it all. And if you look underneath, it's actually got like a drip tray. So if there's ever a leak, it's got like its own internal drip tray. Now the pipe work is immaculate. Everything's clamped down, it's all stainless steel, it's all done proper. There is not a single cable tie in sight in any of this. I lie, there is a little ones here. But generally speaking, it's all done proper, built to last. These red things here are vents from the decks below. And they've got a little rib. I suspect if somebody goes overboard, they go out in that. Interesting statistic, sad enough that I worked it out and looked it up online. Your chance to survive, if I jumped off of here now, my chance of survival is between 17 and 25%. That's a scary statistic. And it's the same again, there's more lifeboats, stroke tenders down here. Interesting that the actual mechanism for dropping this into the water, that arm there goes out on this big hydraulic ram. And you look at the steel work involved in doing that. I mean, I don't know how heavy that boat would be, but being fiberglass, I shouldn't imagine it's horrendous weight. Maybe 20 tons, I don't know really. But then when you look at the structure of everything that's doing that, then they brace it back to the ship here. You would have thought there'd have been enough meat in there to do it, but obviously not. But like as I say, everything is belt and braces. I'll take you all the way down the front of the ship, because there is a corridor that takes you across to the other side. But yeah, almost, or pretty much more of the same. Winches, pipe work, drip trays, winches, pipe work, drip trays. As I say, there's six of these down each side. Don't know how many people you'd get in there. Quite a few, I would think. But there could be up to nearly 5,000, including crew, on board this ship when it's at full capacity. Full capacity is 2,700 passengers. As I said before, it's not the biggest ship you can get. I think some of the biggest ones are 5,000 people. But yeah, 2,700 on there and about 1,500 crew. But as far as you can see there, I've not even walked to the front of the ship yet. But then when you look at how this is put together, it sort of blows my mind. And we're still going. Now I've had a look, like any builder criticises other people's work on their travels, welders do the same. And welders keep an eye out for a bad weld, but these are all absolutely mint. I can't find a bad one, to be honest, anywhere. They're all good. So this is like a corridor that goes across the other side of the ship. You still can keep going further forward that way, but you are towards the bow of the ship. You've got all sorts going on in there. I think what you have got forward at this level is where all the mooring lines are at the front of the ship. So yeah, you can see where we're coming through here. Still got that bit that way. And then it's the same down this side. It's a direct replica on both sides. And how long it would take you to walk from one end to the other? 2 or 3 minutes, I suspect. Maybe 5 minutes to walk across. But yeah, you get the gist. Same both sides. So yeah, quite interesting. A lot of heavy engineering going into these. Immaculately maintained.
And Dan and Cole, they're just assembling the shaker deck and the tipping frame inside the WBT container project. So we've got the shaker deck inside. They're currently just adjusting the height of it. So because of all the weight that's on there, we've got a bit of sag because of the suspension units. So we're just counteracting that with some packer plates. So we're lifting that up a bit, make sure all the measurements line up for what George has got for the customer's approval. So as soon as we've got that done, we're going to get the rest of the hydraulics done for the lifting unit. So most of the connections are done between the two, well, between the two rams for each part. Then it's just the hoses going from those rams to the hydraulic unit, which is just over there. So then I believe Sean's in today, our electrician. He's going to be wiring up the control panel and then running his cable along inside the container. And then there isn't, I'll say, there's a fair bit of work to do still, but there isn't masses more really. We've got a good chunk of painting, bit of assembly for the doorway, tiny bit of assembly getting the frame back on top for the canopy, and then that's it really. Nearly there. This is a frame for Finesse Groundworks, so they're a good friend of the company. Done a few small jobs for them, a couple medium-sized jobs, so they've had a nice bit of repeat work from them. So I think this is a shed sort of thing for them. So they're going to clad it up, get some wood and then some metal sheets on the side of it. Rob and Neil are currently, or they have been, assembling this. So we'll just test fit it up, make sure we're all happy with it, make sure everything fits up, because there's nothing worse than the customer getting it and it not working. So now that we're happy it's all fitted up, get some videos of on the camera, make sure that the customer happy with them, and then start dismantling it.
So I'm back working on the Trident, and what I'm doing at the moment is cutting off the fork pockets from their current position, because we've tried it and it doesn't quite lift even. So what I'm doing is cutting them off, moving them across to hopefully the centre of the weight of the machine, and I'll stitch weld them on, lift it up, see if it works, and then they can be fully welded in. And then what I've left to do on this machine is fully weld in this box section and the control panel which sits in here, and then it's just a load of snagging basically.
Lockers and pedestrian guards currently going on the 118 truck. So we've got new brackets made up to fit the pedestrian guards. Traditionally they would be bolted on underneath the bed, but as this bed slides we can't, which is obvious, or to us at least. So we've had to come up with some new brackets that go to the main chassis of the truck. So we're connecting them up, getting the lockers in, connecting them to the chassis as well for the same reason. There's not a lot else really. I'm going to connect the PT up to the hydraulics at the back and the cab, and then yeah, we're about there really. not much left, bit of painting to do as well, but yeah. In the WBT container project now, so we've got the shaker deck screen here. I'm currently stood in it. We're going to have the punch plate going across here. So that's 10mm punch plate yet to go in, so it doesn't need to be going in yet. We've got Dan and Cole. They are in the process of, so they're off camera at the minute, they're in the process of connecting up all the hydraulics. So I think I mentioned earlier, we've got the hoses between the two adjacent rams connected up already, and then they're now working through the hoses back to the hydraulic power pack over the other side. So as soon as they're all up and running, Sean is sorting out the electrics right now. So I think we're planning on testing on Thursday. So as soon as he's got that in there, he'll be back Thursday once we're ready for him, and then testing. Make sure everything works as it should do. Say we've dry tested it without the actual hydraulic power, and it's worked out fine. So as soon as we've got the hydraulic power to it, we can 100% confirm that, get this deck in, get everything else painted that needs to be painted, and then get it out the yard. Rob is currently in the process of disassembling this now, so all the tests are done. We're happy with everything where everything is, everything where it needs to be. We've got the 4 pockets where they are. Rob saw that, Rob's done that. I think you've seen that on camera now. We have just taken the actual auger out, all the flights and the shaft, and then now Rob is cleaning out the rest of the hopper. So he's made a new tool, just quickly, taking him 5 minutes, just to clean out the actual inside of the hopper. I'm going to give it a wash down with the pressure washer, just to make sure all the sand's out, get it dried off, ready for the lads for the paint, I believe. So yeah, we're getting there. Bit more disassembly, a couple more little bits of fabrication, and then paint and assembly. Yeah.
So today's a bit of a special day. We're going to the beach, which is pretty hot for plane spotters. So if you know where we're going today, leave it in the comments. Let's see if you're right. Never been before, don't know what it's like. Seen some videos of it, looks pretty mad. So let's go and have a look. If anybody knows what machine that was, can you put it in the comments? Not sure what that was. Got the look of a cotton harvester on the front, but it's on tracks with a conveyor out the back. So if you think you know what it is, stick it in the comments. Let's see what people say. So you saw in an earlier episode the ship's point of view of being tied up when you're in port. I thought I'd show what it looks like down here. So if you look above where the mooring ropes come out of the ship, you've got like a grill, and that's where the crew throw out the lines from inside, and then they pull them onto shore. You can see on the end of the mooring lines they've got a rope. Still haven't worked out whether they're bollards or not, because I'm filming this before seeing the comments from when I mentioned it. So they get pulled out from the ship and put on what we're currently calling the bollards, which I think is wrong. And then up there they've got like some discs with a cutout that they put over the mooring ropes. Now I'm going to assume that's to stop rats from running up the mooring lines onto the ship. My hat just flew off in the wind. So they throw the lines out and they put them on there, and then they winch it back in to tighten it up, and then depending on where they are on the ship, some more lines go from here. So it's nice and secure. But yeah, we stopped somewhere yesterday. There was two guys in a boat down here, and somebody on a bosun's chair up there, and they were painting all the red paint on the back. What was I saying about routine maintenance? We got a pontoon out repainting the back of the boat. So these are the doors on the outside of the ship that you go through to gain access. The one that we're going on's down there, that's open, but there's various different ones along the ship. There's one in the middle of the deck, and there's one at the far front as well, but I think these ones are for cargo to go into the hold, because this level here, as passengers, you can't come on. This is interesting as well. You've got life rafts at the top, which I think, if it all goes a bit Pete Tongue, this lot gets dumped into the sea. And there's ropes that come all the way down to the bottom, through a loop, and the rope goes all the way back up, and it's actually connected just up there. I haven't quite worked out what that's all about, apart from, if it all goes wrong, the life rafts can't go too far from the ship. I'm assuming if the ship's going down, there needs to be a mechanism that you can unhook yourself. Haven't worked that out yet.
Welcome back to the Trident machine. Still here. From yesterday, I have removed everything, cleaned it all down. I'm currently in the process of welding in the control panel box. What else have I done? I've moved the forklift pockets, so they're central in the machine, so it will lift nice and even. And the plan for later on today is to get the hopper, which is over there, back in, and then me and Jim will run pipes for wires to go through, so they're all hidden. I need to install a plate on the forklift pockets for the pressure washer / water system, and eventually run the pipes for that. That is what's been done today, I think.
We're back working on the WBT container. We are pretty much getting it ready for paint now. We've just taken door supports off, stickers off the roof need to come off, and we are priming the inside. We are testing the shaker system and the actual tipping system later on today or tomorrow morning. Just ready for primer and paint, really.
Hello, I'm Richard. My role here at Spitfire Engineering is business development. Primarily sales, but also on the marketing side as well, just to try and promote the products that we make. As a business, one of our biggest problems is trying to get a steady flow of work through the workshops and to try and maintain that flow of work, and that's not always easy. So what we try and do is, when we get a bit of spare time, we'll make machines that we know will sell at some point during the year. Behind me we've got 3 of our E21 deck screens. These are machines that we've made for stock. They're available for sale if anybody's looking for one. We've got the E21C with the fines conveyor, and we've got the E21, which is just has a stillage underneath to catch the fines in. So these are available, as I say, and the number's here if you want to give us a call and buy one. You may have seen in the news this week that there is a big epidemic of site theft. This is something that we've been thinking about, how we can build something that that will hopefully combat that and hopefully bring a bit more business in for us. So we have designed a site bank, which is basically a reinforced box. This will be able to house tools, and it'll have a charging point in there. It can have a solar panel. There's 3 different versions that we're doing, and the walls will be lined with concrete and rebar, and these are going to be available to either hire or buy. The hire is going to be around £95 a week, which I think, for the potential loss of thousands of pounds worth of tools and the inconvenience of losing all your tools, is a small price to pay. So if you're interested, give us a call.
So I've just got a quick job now of making some allium plates for the light board for 118 next door. Just a pretty simple bracket to support the end so none of the electrics fall off. Pretty simple drawing for it, just a bit of folding, which I've already done. And that's what it should look like at the end.
So today we came into a small island called Martinique, and we've parked up. I know that's not a proper term, but we've parked up what we've parked next to.
So this is called Royal Clipper. Now I've looked it up on the internet. Apparently this ship is in the Guinness Book of Records. Apparently this is the largest sailing ship in the world because of its physical size. 5 masts. It's got something like 55,000 square feet of sail. It's a cruise ship, believe it or not. It is actually a cruise ship, and it has 200 passengers, just over 100 crew on board, but it's also got a couple of Cat diesel engines in it as well. Did not expect that this morning. Now this was converted, apparently this was a Polish ship that was built, I don't know when it was built, but it was converted in 2000 into its current use as a cruise ship, but it was built for Polish miners as like a convalescent home, believe it or not. If it wasn't on the internet, you wouldn't believe that, because that just sounds so bizarre. But yeah, apparently that's what it was. So this ship is about 25 years old, which leads me on to my fun fact coming at the end of this episode. Now, before I leave you here, if you've been watching in previous weeks, we've been building a mortar mixing machine for a sister company, Trident Equipment, and Adam has gone out today to do some filming for the promotional sort of footage and videos for that machine. So he's been out to some building sites. I don't think he's ever been on a building site before, Adam isn't. So he's been out on a building site today. He's been doing some footage of different bits and bobs. I'm just going to put a few clips in here now so you can see where he's been, and then that footage is going to be used for some promotional footage for the Trident mortar mixer when we get a little bit further down the road. If you've ever wondered how you get one of these ships to a petrol station, you don't. The petrol station comes to you. This is what they call a bunker barge. Turns up alongside in port and pumps on fuel. Can't remember what the fuel is exactly, but it's not diesel. It's like a crude oil, like a refined crude oil that goes through the engines. But yeah, this is how they do it. Bunker barge. It's got a tug just over here, holding it in position, because I assume it's not that powered. I'm not sure. Maybe it is.
Another week in the yard done, so it's Thursday now. We've got, again, very busy week. It's good, it's what we want. The lads, we've got Jamie, Dan and Connor. They're currently cleaning up the Trident frame. That's getting painted tomorrow, I believe. So overtime on Friday. Dan's coming in to do a bit of that. We've got Sean in, he's wiring up the electric box for WBT, the container project. Neil's making our SES stillages, which are behind Adam now. We've got me on the 118, Jam and Lee on the 118. And yeah, busy day, busy week. Leading into next week nicely though. We've got a few projects somewhat finishing off next week, so we should be getting there. Happy customers, that's what we want. We've got Dan, Stephen Connor. That's the thing I said. No, Jamie, Stephen Connor. I'm getting people confused. Dan was on there a minute ago. Jamie, Stephen Connor, they're currently cleaning up the frame at the minute. Connor's disassembling the step. So this is the Trident at the minute. They're getting this ready for paint tomorrow, so we need to make sure everything's wire wheeled, all the imperfections are gone, any welding spatter is removed. Nice clean surface ready for Dan to apply the paint to. So obviously we're going to have to degrease and thinner it all down, make sure there's no chemicals on there as well. But yeah, the lads are getting it clean, ready for the show. Sean's got the control box in now, so there's still some wires to connect up, but the main bulk of it is in. You can see that is very complicated in there, certainly more complicated than I can understand. I'm sure there's some viewers that will know exactly what all of this is. But yeah, we've got Sean working on it now. He's just connecting up the motors, so he's feeding these tails in here, in from the container, up into the bottom of the control box using glands. So that just keeps everything nice and watertight, and then especially on this, dust tight, so that the insides don't fry. These are the stillages that Neil's been making. So Colin's done all the cuts for this, Neil's done all the folds and the fabrication, so they're not done yet. We've got the main frame, the support bars and the fork pockets all installed or assembled onto it. We've got the main legs to go on their neck, so Neil's already fabricated them, so it's just a case of marking them up, welding them up at the right height. And then I don't know if these are getting a lick of paint. I think they might be being left as is. So these are big enough to fit a 3 by 1.5 metre sheet, which is the bigger sheets that we use. We want to use these so that we can stack that material a bit better rather than having it on the wooden pallets, because we find they break a lot. So this will make that a bit better, and I think we can get 6 standard size pallets on this. So when we have a job that's done, so for the E21Cs for instance, we can get the whole job on one of these. It's in one uniform place, all the lads know exactly where to go to. We're going to end up labelling these up as well, so probably put a spray paint 1 or welder number 1 onto it somewhere. Then yeah, we're getting there. We've got another 118 truck in. So Dave rang us today, I think it was just before lunch it was, so it's, what is the time? 4:23 on Thursday now. So yeah, Dave rang us just before lunch, asked if we can get another one of his trucks in, as one of the drivers has done something to the ramp at the back. So sort him out with that. The other truck is in, being fitted up now still. We're welding this up, well I'm welding this up for him now. I'll be in doing a bit of overtime tomorrow on Friday. Yeah, another little rush job, but happy customers, that's what we want.
So this week's fun fact revolves around ships again. So, how long do you think these ships last? Things like this. Now I said earlier on when I was talking about the sailing ship next door that's 25 years old. Now apparently the average age of a cruise ship is around 25 years old. So that's their expected lifespan. Now every 5 years they get brought out of water in a dry dock. So what they do is they sail the ship basically into like a lock, and what they'll do is they'll sail it in, position it in just the right place, and before that's sailed in they will put a load of blocks on the floor. So they'll sail it in, shut the door behind it, big door behind it, and then they'll pump the water out, and as the water goes out the ship sinks down and ends up sitting on the blocks. Now what they do at that point is they then shot blast all the paint off the bottom and repaint it, and because it's sat on blocks they can't do all of the underneath because obviously there's blocks sitting underneath. So what they do is they've got 2 or 3 different options for laying the blocks out. So on this occasion they'll put them in a certain way, and then in another 5 years time when they come in the blocks will be positioned in a way so that where the blocks were on the first visit they're not in the same place. So in theory none of the paint underneath is any more than 10 years old. So they will put it into dry dock every 5 years, and the sister ship to the one that we're on, the Scarlet Lady I think it was, that's just been in November last year, because that is 5 years old. And what they've done is they've repainted the hull, and they've also made some modifications inside, turned the entire thing round in 2 weeks. So they remodeled certain areas of the ship inside and also repainted the hull. As you can imagine, I've been looking at the cost of these ships and it blows your mind. How much do you think this ship is worth? Or how much do you think it was when it was new? $810 million apparently. So I worked it out last night. The finance payments on this ship, if you had it at 4% interest over 20 years, that's just shy of $5 million a month just to buy the thing. And then when you think how much food comes on board and the crew and the fuel to run the thing, it's massive money to run one of these, absolutely massive. Now I was saying the other week about the 4 engines, the bit that I didn't actually say, that I probably should have said at the time. They've got 4 engines on here, 2 big ones, 2 small ones, and as I say, the smaller ones are 12,500 horsepower, so they're not really small anyway. Now what they do is they've got the 4 engines, so we're sat in port at the minute. I might just have one engine running because they've got to run air conditioning, water pumps, lighting, all that sort of stuff. And then the other engines, they start the engines up as the demand for electricity is needed. As I've said, this is fully electric powered. There is no prop shaft with a propeller on the end of it. It's basically a big electric motor with a propeller on it. So if you're in rough seas or you got a headwind and you need more power, they just start more engines. And the idea is that, you know, in port we might just have one engine running. Out at sea, if we're not going very fast, there might be 2 engines running, and then it ramps up to when there's rough seas, rough weather, and they need more and more power. They've got up to 4 engines that they can have at any, you know, to give it maximum power. So that is it for this episode. Like and subscribe, all the usual stuff, please. Leave your comments, messages below. This will be it for me now on the ship. I am back in the yard next week. We've got a couple of jobs coming to an end. We've got the WBT bin tipper with the vibrating feeder, and we've also got the Trident mortar mixer being finished, and new job starting. More to follow on that one. Keep you informed, but that is a big one. Speak to you soon.
Cool. Again, saying cool again. Cool. Got Dan in there, he's laughing again. Making sure that, yeah, that's it. I don't know why I said making sure that you can cut that. Lockers and pedestrian guards currently going on the 118 truck. So we've...
Oh, I didn't see that. No, get rid of that.
We are stripping it down. We are just getting a little bit to...
Happy customers, that's what we want. Happy customers, that's what we want. Well, I've said that before again, haven't I? Yeah, we'll cut that bit out.